Hey guys, Tall Paul here, snuck out of the GOHUNT showroom to introduce to you the GOHUNT Dyneema 4-person teepee. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this teepee, so we're pretty excited to introduce it to you today. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to run through the 5-step process of setting up the teepee, some of the stuff that's included with it and not included with it. So let's go ahead and we'll get right into what you get when you purchase your GOHUNT 4-person Dyneema teepee. So on the inside of the teepee, you're going to get this little package first. This package is going to come with a Dyneema replaceable insert. That's going to be part of the teepee, and I'll go into that in detail with you. You're also going to get another replaceable part. So there's going to be a mesh one, your stove jack, and then a Dyneema replacement. You're also going to get this little like laundry line gear pouch that you're going to be able to put up inside of the teepee. We'll explain that once the teepee's up. And you're also going to get 14 stakes on the inside of the teepee, the GOHUNT stakes, along with directions on how to set up your Dyneema teepee. On GOHUNT.com, if you want to download a version of this and take it to backcountry with you, you can. We're going to have a downloadable PDF on the website under the description and specs for the Dyneema teepee. So head over to GOHUNT.com, check that out, download it so you have an offline instruction manual with you, okay? So other than that, this is the teepee itself. We went with Dyneema because we wanted something that would be fully rounded from spring to fall, lightweight, packable, and waterproof. So whether you're archery hunting, muzzleloader, or rifle, you have a shelter that can literally do it all for you. So that's why we went with Dyneema, okay? A couple things that won't be included with your Dyneema teepee will be trekking poles for our Arrowhead system. I'll show you that on the inside of the teepee. And also the center pole setup. That won't be included with the teepee. You'll have to purchase those separate, along with a stove. If you need a stove, you'll also have to purchase that separate. In the meantime, let's go ahead and we'll get this puppy started. You're gonna start with these 4 orange guy outlines that are gonna be at the base of the teepee. What you're gonna wanna do is set this up with 4 stakes in a square as close as you can get it, and then we're gonna move on to step 2. So here we go for step 1, okay? Guying out these orange guy lines. Now typically, you're gonna have probably more than one hunter or friend with you setting this up, but Omar's running the lens. So I'm gonna set this up by myself and give you an idea of how simple this is actually gonna be for a one-man setup, okay? Okay, 4 stakes. So you're gonna get enough guy line here that you could stake these out, okay? Usually I like to stake these out, and I usually like to try to do, 45-degree to 30-degree angle as best I can. We're gonna end up driving that in with a rock. And then when you need to, you can actually then adjust your guy outline here to tighten that up, okay? But we're gonna do that later. So I just wanna get these started and we'll go from there. As you can kind of see, we've now gotten our square pretty well. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and set up the GOHUNT center pole to my desired height. Now, keep in mind, I'm setting up the zipper, the entrance a little to the south in this example, but keep in mind the height of your center pole and probably where you're gonna set your teepee up is gonna be dependent on terrain, weather, and things like that you might be expecting to move in. So don't put yourself in a disadvantage setting it up. So just be conscientious of that, okay? Okay guys, so now that we've got the GOHUNT carbon center pole set up, we're gonna head and hop inside for step 2, get the teepee set up, and then we're gonna roll on to step 3, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and head over to the front right here, open our shelter up, okay? You're gonna notice the top of the tent is gonna have this reinforced kind of circus tent top. Get your center pole in there, get that puppy in, crawl inside, and get that set up as best as possible. You might see that it's at least a little firm, it's not going anywhere, because our next step, step 3, is those 4 guy lines in orange that we initially set up. We're gonna now go back and tighten them all down to snug the teepee onto the center pole, okay? So now that we're done with step 2, we'll go over to step 3. Okay, and we'll go ahead and pull that down a little bit, and then we're just gonna hit all 4 corners, okay? There we go. See, you can see that's getting nice and close to the ground. And number 4. You can see nice and taut too. So one thing to remember now that that's nice and now that that's nice and taut, is if you're in an area with a lot of rocks, you can always put rocks on the guy lines. I know Brady and the guys have mentioned this before. That's just gonna keep anything from wrenching on your stakes, lines coming off, all that stuff. So now that we finished step 3 and our 4 corners are nice and taut, as you can notice too, our shelter is now nice and secure. We're gonna move on to step 4, which is we're gonna move on to the black guy lines now, and we're gonna start to stake those all out, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and close up our teepee. One other thing to remember, guys, is in our teepee, in case something happens like here where you get a lot of snow on the base of the teepee or anything like that, or you're gonna get ice freezing up your zippers, we added in these 2 buckles at the bottom here, where you're able to buckle in the bottom of your teepee here. That's gonna keep that nice and closed and everything just doesn't rip open on you if you have a really windy hunt, things like that. So keep that in mind. If your zippers start to ice up, don't worry about it. We gave you some clips to help close in the bottom, okay? Okay, there we are. And now we're just gonna start to stake out our step 5 guy lines. So get those started. I did leave these with a little bit of slack. So again, you can snug these up as you see fit based on the terrain or weather that you're in, okay? So follow me around. So for step 5 and our final step, we're gonna stake out the guy lines. You're gonna see these guy lines here on the sides of the teepee. Those are gonna be very dependent on where we are, again, weather conditions and all that, where we wanna stake it out. But for this instance, I'm gonna do the 2 on the side here to give us a little bit more space on the inside, okay? You notice too, we give you about 8 feet worth of this 1.5 millimeter paracord. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set these out here and we'll be able to tighten them up as we go along. Okay, you can see it's got a little belly in it. Pull that out a little bit. There we go, looks a little bit better. And we'll head to the other side. Okay, so that's gonna complete the 5 steps of getting the teepee set up, internal center pole set up, guy outs and everything done. We're now gonna hop inside the teepee. I'm gonna show you how to set up our Arrowhead support system. And then I'm also gonna show you how our accessory setup. Cool, so let's go ahead and step on in. Before we step in here, we actually have 2 zippers on the top and the bottom. If you want to crack that zipper open, you can, maybe just to increase airflow if it's getting really warm inside. Again, being a single wall shelter, you are going to probably get a lot of condensation inside. So also, if you get stormed in and you want to come down, you can also glass out of here. You can put your optics out of there or something like that while staying inside, staying dry and staying covered. So just keep that in mind. We kind of thought about that as a kind of a dual purpose zipper. Okay, so this is going to be part of our Arrowhead system. Our Arrowhead system was designed to use trekking poles as a way to kind of hang clothes and dry out apparel if you end up getting wet out, sweaty or something like that. So you're going to have these 2, what looks like little hummingbird nests in the top of your teepee. And this is going to end up holding the grip of your trekking pole. And then these little guys here are where the carbon end or the end of the trekking pole is going to go into this end here, okay? So for instance, we're going to start with this. Put this into the top. Get that set up in here. And this is a little short, so I'm gonna go ahead and extend that out a little bit as a support. And voila, you now have pretty much a laundry line in your teepee. We did not design this to support any kind of weight, so please don't pull up on this one getting up. Please don't try to do pull-ups when you're bored. It is meant to just hold clothes and be a laundry line, okay? Okay, so same thing here. We're gonna open this one up a little bit. Get this set up into this corner here. Okay, just like that, create some tension, and both are in there securely. So that's gonna be our Arrowhead system. Works out really nicely, kind of keeps the roof open a little bit as well. So next, I'm gonna install our gear bag. This is great if you wanna throw a cell phone, headlamp, things like that if you'd like to. And I'm gonna show you where to connect those across. And also we have a really neat loop up here at the top if you want to hang a lantern from, a headlamp from, things like that. So you have illumination when it's darker out, you absolutely can, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start with these extended all the way out, so the paracord all the way out and the paracord locks all the way out. And these little carabiners, the black ones, we're going to connect to these little eyelets right here. So I'm going to connect the black one to the black one. okay? And then I'm gonna run that directly across over here to the next one. That's kind of nice and taut. And again, you can hang your gear, another laundry line if you'd like, and you're all set up there. One other thing that we're gonna have is these replacement liners. So that one's gonna be your stove jack. This one is gonna be Dyneema, okay? And the one that's up there right now is mesh. So depending on your hunt season, if you don't need a stove jack, save the weight, leave that one off, and you could just take these two to replace in there, okay? So I'm gonna show you how simple it is to replace one of those. It is only reinforced with a zipper and a Velcro bottom. So we're gonna unzip our mesh liner, okay? Pull this apart. And a lot like a jacket, you're gonna have that little zipper clasp that comes right out of the bottom of that. Simply replaces it. And all we'd have to do is put the next one in. So if we're getting ready to change seasons and you're gonna wanna put your stove jack in, I'd recommend starting the end clasp into the zipper, okay? Start the zipper, perfect, okay? Fold this back, get your corners started. I usually find it a little bit easier if you pull this onto the inside and you can kind of just, almost like a little freezer bag, okay? And then, boom. Stove will be sitting here, stove pipe will be out the top, and we can start stoking a fire and warming ourselves back up. So that is pretty much the internal side of the GOHUNT Dyneema 4-person teepee. If you do have a stove in here, you could sleep 2 people on either side. Without a stove, can fit up to 4 people next to one another. It's just that simple. So we'll go ahead and step outside and I'll show you some features of the stove jack and also a really cool vent system, trying to maximize some of the breathability of the teepee. Okay, we'll head out. So just to show you some features of the outside, there is a bit of like a rain gutter here that is going to work great. So if you do have a lot of moisture hitting the side, it's just going to run down, right down the teepee, which will be nice. And then we give you a really cool vent here at the top, again, trying to maximize airflow within this single man shelter, kind of something similar to what you would see on a freestanding shelter. So that's pretty much it, everyone. That's how we set up the GOHUNT Dyneema 4-person teepee. Again, the design was we wanted to go waterproof, check. Lightweight, check. Multi-season for anyone trying to get outdoors, check. So head over to GOHUNT.com, come by the showroom and pick one up today. If you found this really helpful, please drop a comment below of some other stuff you'd like to see or any feedback you have. Also give us a thumbs up if you like the video and subscribe. We appreciate the support. We'll see you out there.